The first day of March 2016, the still early spring seeps into the houses that guard the town. To the neatly hanging laundry, to the back garden which has been carefully furnished, we can feel the village's affection to the town. However, nothing is left unshaken in the face of the wind blowing. A strong wind blows in Utoro. Luggages are piled in various places, and sometimes we see empty houses. That shows many residents have left the town already. This happens because Utoro will be torn down after this spring passes. After passing the faded door plates engraved with Joseon people's last names, Eruha, the town hall and resting place of the residents, is appeared. We met Tagawa Akiko there, who is the representative of the Utoro preservation meeting. What did Tagawa have to defend this town from? Every town has a story. Let's listen to the story of Tagawa, a Japanese woman, a common citizen of Uzi, but she worked ahead of Koreans to protect Utoro for 30 years. This village was formed with Joseon laborers who were forced into the construction of Kyoto's military air base when it was the Second World War. After the war ended, laborers did not receive proper wages, and they were neglected. So they could not return home, and they were compelled to stay here. The residents who were left in the land where it is hard to live, even without basic water and sewage systems. They had to live with water from wells, and when there were fires, they waited for the fire until it went out on its own due to they don't have fire hoses. At that time, an acute infection dysentery prevailed in Uzi, so I was interested in safe water. However, I was shocked and angry about there were no water pipes in Utoro. So I started a campaign and made an alliance with Utoro since then. At first, Tagawa made a meeting to install water pipes in Utoro. Water pipes were installed in Utoro with the effort of many people, and the residents were happy. But nobody knew this could be the beginning of another struggle. This is because a Japanese enterprise, Nissan, received the land ownership of Utoro from the Japanese international air industry, and it sold Utoro secretly without saying anything to the residents. It sold Utoro with high price due to the installation of the water pipes. The ownership of 87 years was given to West Japan Industry, a real estate company, and 2 years later, it submitted a request to demolish the buildings and evict the residents of Utoro to Kyoto District Court. The residents who suddenly became defendants went through a very long trial to protect the land they lived on, and the meeting for the installation of water pipes was changed into a meeting to defend Utoro. At the end of a lot of worries, the residents were able to find the answer to protect their rights in the International Covenants on Civil and Political Rights of the UN. We can find the answer from seeing the regulation that stated about housing demolition is not allowed in public work without the provision of alternative housing. We found a small light to remove the Japanese administration in the darkness. For a better life environment, to the policies of the Ministry of Land, which pursues the poor housing improvement project, we transited to campaign to include Utoro concretely. Citizen organizations of Korea and Japan have collected a lot of money for us, and the Korean government provided budget to buy the Utoro land. Since then, 30 years has passed. It was like a war to protect the village against those who worked endlessly to evict them. The evacuation order is nominally changed into a new town creation industry of Uzi, and the residents will be moved in 2 apartment buildings that will be built over some Utoro land. It had been bought with the help of Korean and Japanese citizens, donations of Korean Japanese compatriots, and hard-earned support from the Korean government. However, the residents were not happy about the demolition of the village. They feel like the home seems to disappear, that they protected and took great care. A small fruit tree that the son planted last year, Eruha, the town hall that had been a place of comfort during hard times, Hamba, the bunkhouse of Joseon laborers who forced labor at the time of war, those will be demolished. The town of Utoro, which had been protected so hard, might be taken. The public housing and modern paved roads to be newly built will cover the history of Utoro that the Japanese government has disregarded in the name of redevelopment. The town landscape will disappear as if any incident is not happened at all from the beginning. The story of this small town that began in 1941 has not come to an end yet. In here, there are still things to protect. Don't you think we should be the last person who remembers the town of Utoro? The reason why I like this place the most is because I can see at a glance geographically what the nation of Japan had been avoiding so far. One side of the Korean-Japanese town Utoro, a huge Japanese self-defense forces military base stands, and beyond that, a huge automobile company building stands, which helps to bring Japan's rapid economic growth. It is impressed place where it shows at a glance what Japan forgot and what it valued up to the present. June 27th, 2016. The demolition of Utoro village has begun. 고독이 본다.